Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, welcome to another fantastic and fabulous and fun Ask an Engineer. I'm Lady Ada, the engineer. This is Phil on camera control, and I'm wearing my awesome Transistor Man t-shirt because I love transistors. VBE is awesome, and we're going to rock it out today with an excellent show. We've got all sorts of fun stuff here at the Adafruit factory. Tell them what's up.
Okay, on tonight's show, we're going to have, as seen on the show and tell, we'll talk about all the cool things that people showed off and more. Packet of Mailbag will stop by, read some things from our mailbag that customers and people sent in. Lady Ada saw a Baxter the robot.
Oh yeah, this was cool.
We'll talk about that.
I will.
We have a series of photos from John Janier. These are absolutely fantastic.
They're so close.
Yes.
My God, it's full of 0.1 microfarad capacitors.
That's right. We'll stop in and talk about some Internet of Things with Nimbus. The Adafruit Learning System has some awesome tutorials this week. We'll be showing those off. Time Travel Tuesday, where we take a look back and some historic things in the world of making and beyond. Wearable Wednesday, we have some fantastic projects and some cool things going on in the world of wearables. Also, stop in and look at the Halloween projects that people have been sending in. 3D Thursday, where we look at things in the world of 3D printing and beyond. Pi Day, some big milestones this week in the world of Raspberry Pi. We'll be talking about that. We'll do new products. Answer your questions. I have a trivia question. All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
Word up.
Okay.
I'm ready for this.
Yeah, this is a big show.
Big show.
Okay, so let's pay some bills, Lady Ada.
Let's rock it.
Yeah, the bills that we're paying.
Our ruler bells.
Yeah, so the code tonight is ruler.
Ruler.
In celebration of the new Adafruit PCB ruler. Frank, our engineer, came up with this in around 2011. He has an Instructable on it, and since he joined us at the company, we finally got around to getting them produced for him.
Yeah.
So really cool project. We'll be showing it off, 10% off in the Adafruit store. Anything
They're fun
that's in
little
stock.
rulers.
Yeah.
Show them in detail.
Yeah.
And you can later win one.
Yeah.
Trivia contest.
So let's get this started, Lady Ada.
Let's get this party started.
Yeah. So show and tell.
Okay.
Tell everybody
there.
Tell everybody was on show and tell. I'm gonna hit the chat room.
Go hang out at the chat room over there. I'm going to talk about this awesome show and tell we had. We had 6 people show up, 6 people. They were all, actually no, none of them were returns, but many of them were. We had Noe and Pedro Ruiz, who are, Pixel 3D is the name of their group, band, 3D printing outfit. I don't exactly know what
Pixel 3D, I believe.
Yeah, but what is it? Is it like it's like
I think they're a video company.
Okay,
but,
they do stuff.
But we'll be hearing more from them because they're doing some cool stuff on our Adafruit Learning System.
They're doing cool stuff, and they showed up with a 3D printed belt buckle that they had already done for put on Thingiverse, and they had like 4 MakerBots or something. But this time, they were making a version that they could fit like a Gemma and NeoPixels in, and then they made a diffuser out of PLA, which is actually kind of a good diffusing material. And it had like a mustache and it glowed, and it was like a pretty cool belt buckle. Janon showed up again with his Tetris game that he's made, a nice full color Tetris game with music, and now it has like a meter for how many lines you've cleared in Tetris, which is really good. He made a really cool XB controlled XB using remote control RC car remote thingy that uses an accelerometer. There's too much remote in that thing, control. Anyways, words. He also worked on his piano, and he was using our differential Class D amplifier, and he said the differential amplifier really improved the noise because he could cancel out the noise that was coming from the Atmega, because the Atmega is kind of noisy, it's generating audio, so there was a lot of static before, and now he got rid of it, yay, because the static was coming from the chip. Charles had a really interesting arm strap box, and what he's working on is he wants to get Cortex M4s into the hands of people without having to shell out like $100 or $200 for like a JTAG debugger or programmer, and then you have to have it like tied to your compiler, and then it's like always code limited. So he's trying to make a really easy to use open source ARM JTAG interface using a Cortex M3, I think. So check out armstrap.org for more details. Mike came back with his holiday lights. He has Hanukkah mode, Christmas mode, Valentine's mode, St. Patrick's mode, and then like a test mode and LCD. So he's learning a lot about electronics and making a really festive window. And then Tony showed up with his portrait machine. So he has a Raspberry Pi now with the Raspberry Pi camera, and the Pi camera is running OpenCV, and he like actually got like the Pi to do face detection with OpenCV, and it's also rendering this like 3D skull or 3D like bump mapped evil pumpkin. I like pumpkins, but this one's evil.
Yeah.
And it follows you because it knows where you are because it's looking for your face. So as you walk around, it's kind of subtle, but it follows you around. So it's a really cool project because you can actually fit everything into the frame of the, into the frame with the LCD, so you can fit behind it. 'Cause it's a small Raspberry Pi, and the camera is also quite small, much smaller than a webcam. So that was kind of fun.
Okay, Lady Ada, how do people get on the show and tell?
You get on the show and tell by going to our Google page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit. And look for the post where you say comment here to get added to the circle, and we can add you to that circle. Then every week you'll get invited to show off your project every day, every week. I'm so tired. Every week, Saturday at 9:30 p.m. That was a half hour ago. You could have shown up if you are a time traveler and shown off your project. Otherwise, you're just going to have to wait till next week.
That's right. Okay, moving right along. Packet mailbag. Here's Packet. So when people send us emails or faxes or letters or things.
We get letters sometimes.
We do. About Adafruit and something that worked out well for their purchase or feedback or whatever, we like to have them in the mailbag section.
What does Dan say?
This one is from Dan. Hi, this isn't technically a product feedback request, but you didn't leave an option for leaving accolades. As such, I really just want to drop a note and say a big thank you for the great work you do. I purchase a lot of Adafruit products from a reseller here in Canada. I'm very impressed with the quality of your products. Moreover, I sincerely appreciate the open source nature of the software and hardware designs.
Oh, yeah.
Yay. All right.
Go us.
Okay. Next up, we went to our friend Trammell's place of business called 2 Sigma, and he has a Baxter, the robot. Here's you with Baxter. It's a robot designed to work with people. And
Baxter is very interesting. I'd heard about this. I'd actually seen some pictures, but I hadn't researched it. So this is Rethink Robotics, which is, what's the name of the robot? Minsky? I don't remember the name of the robot. It's famous roboticist who owns it.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be the trivia question, but I know who you're talking about.
I know. I don't know what the trivia question is, but if you know it, good for you. You know roboticists better than me. I'm pretty tired. But anyways, MIT roboticist. And what's interesting about this robot, and for anyone who's seen robot arms, like the ones that are usually used in factories, they're basically like these things that will totally kill you. Like they're extremely dangerous because they just run and they're extremely powerful. And if they hit you, they'll basically kill you. And so what they wanted to do is and usually they're in a cage, and like humans are not allowed anywhere near these robots, which makes it really hard to do collaborative work with the robot, maybe doing something that's more difficult or requires a little bit more precision or something that's very repetitive, while the human does something more interesting, which is what I think is a good tie of robots and humans. People are really good at doing a lot of complicated tasks that require like detailed thought and like quality assurance and stuff. And robots are very good at repetitive tasks, but they don't, they'll repeat the task even if they're doing it wrong. Like they don't have the same kind of comprehension and pattern matching that we have yet, and probably won't for at least 100, 200 years. So this robot is actually meant to work with people, and the way it does that is every joint has a really interesting force feedback system. And it's not a very strong robot. Like most of these robots, like it can lift like cars or whatever. They're extremely strong. This robot isn't that strong because what it will do is it'll make sure it doesn't accidentally hit a person, because it has a force feedback system that measures how much torque how much force it's actually applying or torque it's applying to the joint versus how much it should be. And if there's a mismatch, it's sort of like a ground fault interrupt, but for force, it'll know that there's something that it's bumping up against, and it will immediately stop. And it can stop fast enough that it won't hit you. So like you can position this robot to do something like a task, and then you can put your arm in the way, even by accident or on purpose, and it will stop right as it touches you. It won't hurt you, which makes it really good for situations where there's a lot of people as well as humans like working together.
Yeah, it has 2 cameras. and there's a distance sensor. You can train it. It doesn't require language, so you don't have to like read the text. You actually
And
move it around.
The head is a tablet, and you can use,
Yeah.
it's very, it's not verbal, it doesn't speak, but it doesn't require any
Rodney
text.
Brooks is the name of the
Rodney
fellow
Brooks.
who
Sorry.
started
That's
the
right.
company. So
I wasn't an AI lab student, so it's totally acceptable for me to not know that. I was a media lab student, so I know Negroponte, I don't know.
Yeah, we're doing a coloring book called R is for Robotics. So I actually probably need to add some famous roboticists in there.
Yeah.
In addition to, there isn't a good one for letter Z, if anyone knows one.
Z, robot?
Yeah,
Begins with letter Z.
there was Wildcat, thank goodness, the Boston Dynamic one. But anyways, so the big question that some people probably have is Adafruit going to get one of these robots? Because we actually are interested in possibly having robots do some of the things here at Adafruit. And what we found is that Baxter is more for if we had putting things in boxes that were the same size.
It's we could like packing boxes, which is a common thing in shipping, where they're like, you
of
have
the
like
same
100
items.
jars or whatever, like 100 little mini boxes, and they have to be packed into a larger box very precisely. It's something that's quite boring, and it's good if a robot can do it, because a robot will just do it very repetitively and just place them, or placing something. Like if you had a task where you're like, oh, I have to arrange like donuts into a box or something, it's something that the robot could do. It could pick it up and arrange them, repetitively without any difficulty. Doesn't really make sense at this time to have something like a Baxter here at Adafruit. I mean, we thought about it, and we'll keep thinking about it.
Yeah, I could see if we start to standardize on a very specific type of product, and we're shipping a lot of them in like cases. I could see doing that. But for right now, everything that we do, the parts are so tiny that Baxter is
like
more for
it could be good for heat shrinking.
heat shrinking is possible.
Like take something, put it in, close, open, and then remove it. But we
Yeah.
don't actually do that here, so that's not.
Yeah, and when I went to the Baxter site, I think fully loaded, everything I wanted, it was like $34,000.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money, but at the same time, that's not as much money as it used to be for an industrial robot. So
I mean, we do have robots here. We have a pick and place, and the pick and place is a very, very specialized, high-speed, high-precision robot, and they're very expensive. And it does work that people can't do. Like, people can't place components with that precision, with the repeatability that the Samsung can. So it's awesome, because it's not a very fun job to try to solder 0.5 millimeter pitch components. But the Samsung is like happy to do it all day.
Yeah. So once again, the code tonight is Ruler, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store. We'll be getting to the new products soon, and there's some good deals to be had. So next up, Makers at Work is a new book. If you want to read about people that are makers, and you probably know some of them,
Yeah, there's we know everybody here.
you can pick up this book.
Jerry Ellsworth.
Yeah.
Bunny Wang.
Yep. Ben Heck.
Ben Heck.
Yeah. So
Bree Pettis.
Becky
Ian
Stern.
Lesnette, Becky Stern.
Becky
Massimo
Stern
Banzi.
from Adafruit is in the book as well. So check it out. Makers at Work. It's now on sale. Steve Osborne wrote it. We don't stock it, but it's available.
Lane's on there, and it's good because his name's in purple.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we have a fantastic photo series. This is the Macro series from John Janier, and you need to go to Flickr to see these and make sure your screen is as big as possible. This is
Big.
inside
Small.
the CC3000. This was from the BeagleBone Black. This is from inside of a GPS.
Yeah, this is the MTK. You can see the MTK3339 ARM GPS chip in there.
This is the color sensor. This is our NeoPixel shield. This is we have a couple different shots of this. And then here is the Arduino Yun. And then here's my favorite one. This is a pixel from a NeoPixel.
Yeah, this is fun because you can see those bonding wires so clearly here, and it's kind of fun to see the little chip.
Yeah.
And actually, when Bunny visited, he was telling us how he went to the factory where these are made, and he talked to the guy who designed the NeoPixel, and like nobody thought that this was a good idea to put the chip inside the LED, and he was like, "All right, I'll just make it myself." And he just learned how to make his own chips, and he learned how to bond the chip into the LED. Like this is, you have to get a bonding machine to do this, to do the wire bonding, and to cut the dies and put it in.
Yeah.
And he learned how to do it himself, and he said that it's been a success for him. But nobody he went to like the big LED makers,
Yeah.
and like none of them wanted to do this project. So this is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, so you can check out all those photos. They're on Flickr, and they're absolutely gorgeous. This is our macro photo set by John Janier. Okay, we're gonna stop in. We have a new segment that we do when there's news about it. Internet of Things is here, and this is Nimbus. This is our little public domain cloud entity. If anyone wants to use it, go ahead. We thought this was a fun way to talk about Internet of Things, but the news this week is our CC3000 now works with the embed.
Yeah, some
So-
enterprising people ported either our code or the TI host code. Good luck with that. To the embed, which is really great because the embed is a pretty powerful processor. It already has Ethernet capability built in, and it definitely could run something like the CC3000. What I really like about the CC3000, this is why I picked this Wi-Fi chip, because I have, you saw my bin of like Wi-Fi modules, and I
Yeah.
have like every roving networks, gain span, like WizNet, every kind of module, and this was the only one that had true SPI interface, and that made it so it can work with pretty much any processor. It can work with Propeller, it can work with Mbed, it can work with Arduino, it can work with Cortex, ARM, STM, whatever.
Yeah.
Everything supports this kind of SPI interface. You can bit bang it, which I really liked, and you can do it. You can have really fast data transfer, much faster than you are.
Okay.
So it's awesome. So I'm expecting to see this ported to like pretty much everything.
Yeah. So that's, once again, that's our CC3000 and the embed. We carry both of these in the Adafruit store. Okay. Next up, Adafruit Learning System. We have some cool stuff. The Adafruit Learning System, I think it's the biggest, and I'm gonna say, the best resource online to learn electronics. We have over 320 something tutorials. It's
We're up to like 325, I think.
325. Yeah.
We have more coming out next week.
More coming out next week, and a lot of people, guest tutorial
Yeah.
writers.
I love the guest tutorials.
Yeah.
I don't have to
So,
write them.
so this week we have a lot of stuff with Trinket.
These Trinket tutorials are fun because you know what? I'm actually finding that I'm doing a lot of projects with Trinket for myself, just because it's like.
Yeah, you just did one right before
I just
the
did
show.
one because sometimes there's projects where like, man, I know it sounds so funny, but it's like I don't want to haul an Arduino out.
Yeah.
Actually, I need just like one button or one potentiometer and
Yeah.
like one LED to just do a quick indicator or timer. And so
Trinket
it's really
is
fun.
$7.95. We've been selling tons of these, and we wanted to have a low-cost platform that's Arduino compatible, and it's taken off like gangbusters, as I say.
Yeah.
We have a new one coming out soon that we can't talk about yet. That will be for even beefier applications, but also at a great low price.
Pro
So I
Trinket.
think people like it. Yeah, it's Pro Trinket is the name.
Pro Trinket.
Yeah. So
Okay.
here's one of our Trinket projects.
Actually, this one's a Gemma project.
Oh, well, Trinket and Gemma are
But
very
you can
related.
use,
Yeah.
you can do it. But yeah, this is actually this is a Flora project.
Yeah.
But you can probably do it with the Gemma too. This is kind of neat. I just love this animated GIF. So this is Bill Earl, who is our tech support lead in the forums, and he built this awesome modification of the kaleidoscope ring LED
Yeah.
NeoPixel ring goggles that Paint Your Dragon did a couple weeks ago. He added an accelerometer to it,
Yeah.
the Flora accelerometer compass. This is really fun, so you can see as you shake your head, it actually kind of makes the LEDs go round and around, and it's a really cool effect. I actually saw these when he visited a couple weeks ago, and they are like the most fun thing to wear and to
Yeah.
watch.
Okay, next up. This is using a Trinket and a NeoPixel ring
And a microphone amp.
and a microphone amp.
This is a color organ. This is like a 70s style, like color blinky blink thing. It's a little bit like the Amplify project that we did, but it's a bit simplified. And it just reacts to music. So it's basically
Yeah.
a music reaction thing. And it has a little microphone. And it's great because it's very simple, straightforward.
Yep.
You can even have a little brightness adjust.
Yeah, and then next up, this is the diagram for the volume knob, but we also have a quick video that I'm going to play. So this is a volume knob that allows you to change the volume of your computer using a Trinket because it shows up as a
Use a keyboard.
keyboard.
It's like a multimedia keyboard.
Yeah, so here's the video.
This is a demonstration of Adafruit Industries Trinket becoming a volume control knob. This here is a rotary encoder, and when I rotate this encoder, my volume on my computer will change. Like this. See? It's changing. Just a neat little demo of the USB capabilities of the Trinket. Thank you for watching.
Okay, great. So
Yeah, that's Frank showing off
Yeah.
cool project. So we actually updated that tutorial even after the video. I was like, it would be really cool because we have the rotary encoders, we have a button built in. So I asked, hey, can you add mute?
Yeah.
So when you press the button, you can mute or unmute or pause or play because that's another multimedia key. So
Oh, cool.
we added that. So now you can do volume up, down with the rotary encoder, and then you press it, you can play or pause. And it's really handy because like sometimes like I'm playing like iTunes, and I don't want to have to like find which window is iTunes or like the control. I don't have multimedia key on my keyboard, so it's handy.
And actually, Frank is in the chat room. Everybody say hello to Frank.
Say hello.
Yeah, so he's Frank 260801 or something like that.
Yeah, multiple digits.
Excellent work, Frank. And we've been showing off your ruler, which is really cool. So,
Okay, so go again.
yeah, so
Ruler.
yeah, so everyone in
It rules.
the chat, tell Frank that he's doing some awesome work. So this isn't part of the learning system, but I did want to mention this. This was in our forums. Someone showed how to make a programmer for the, the trinket.
So if you want to turn it into a little, you want to program it with a AVR programmer such as USB Teeny, the reset pin is exposed, so you can do that pretty easily.
So not in the learning system, but it was just a forum post, so check it out. Okay,
Handy.
next up, Time Travel Tuesday. On Tuesday, we go back in time. We try to pick out things in the maker world. When I have time, I go through and I look at what we were doing like a few years ago.
What were we doing a couple years ago?
Well,
Last year we moved in.
Well, last year on this date, we moved into the Adafruit factory.
Yeah.
We were going to go to a Morrissey concert, but
We were moving.
But we had to move. The moving, the date was kind of in flux because we had to. Everything is certified and inspected, and like this is a real factory, and it's all code compliant. So the second everything was done and we could move in, we were kind of in a holding pattern, and we got in real quick, and then Sandy hit a couple weeks later, which is horrible, and all of New York was shut down. And luckily,
we were right in the middle of
yeah,
it.
we had great customers that stuck by us while we couldn't ship anything for 1 week because there was no power in this area. But anyways,
it was awesome. It was completely dark.
yeah. Also, earlier in the week was the 9-year anniversary of when I started Hackaday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so 9 years ago I started Hackaday.
Wow.
Worked out. Still around.
Yeah.
All the stuff I worked on is still around. So I like that.
Yeah, I liked your first post. You were like, how to make a red box.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's the first post on the day that the site says it was launched.
Oh, okay.
But we had a back catalog of posts that I put up because in case people wanted to go back a few weeks. So the actual real date was
when you launched, you already had back posted?
yeah.
Oh, so there was no like first post when you first posted it?
Well, there
like-
was the red box was the first post, but we decided, well, what if people just want to see some things prior to that? So we had some other posts in the back.
Blogging's weird.
Yeah, I know. So anyways, here is some things that happened. This is in 1847. A woman discovers a comet, shocks public. On October 1st, 1847, Maria Mitchell became the first American woman to discover a comet from her observatory in Nantucket, Massachusetts. Cool. Next up, Charles Cross, the man who almost invented. So Charles Cross is a forgotten inventor. He didn't get credited for a lot of things, but he did contributed to many of the things, such as recorded sound of the phonograph, color photography, and improvements in the telegraph. He was a well-regarded poet and writer, and in his life, he tried to convince the French government to build a giant mirror to communicate what he thought was life on Mars and Venus. Now, this is 1847, thinking that there was life on other planets was really, really advanced and out there. And
That's cool.
yeah.
It was
pretty
out
neat.
there.
Yeah. Okay, next up, Wearable Wednesday. Every Wednesday we have, I think, what is the best collection of wearable electronic projects in the world.
Yes.
Maybe there's life on other planets and they have wearable electronics, but on this planet, Wearable Wednesday is where it's at. So the winners are announced for the Adafruit and Element 14 Get Closer Wearables Challenge. 2 winners. This is the color cam. So what this does is it uses a Flora, and a kid will have to press the right button that tells you what color it is. So it's a
Okay.
cool game, and this is all made with a Flora. And then this one is the Flora umbrella. And this is an umbrella that's powered by a Flora that has LEDs in it.
That's
Beautiful
fancy.
stuff. Yeah. And then this week we have a new project from Becky. This is Becky and Rissa. Becky's our director of wearable electronics, and this is Rissa. She works in the wearables department. And we have a cool video of how they make a Gemma with NeoPixels and makeup. So,
Space face.
So let's watch it.
Space out this Halloween in this illuminated galaxy makeup look powered by Gemma, Adafruit's miniature wearable electronics platform. 5 neopixels form a constellation across the night sky, created with rich, colorful purples, pinks, and blues. Begin by soldering a simple chain circuit in the shape of your favorite constellation. We were inspired by Cassiopeia, the vain queen from Greek mythology, of course. There's a step-by-step guide to go with this video, and the link is in the description. There you can find our circuit diagram, sample code, and the products used for this look. Program Gemma to light up the pixels in the color of your choice, and test to see that everything's working. Feel all of the wire connections to ensure nothing's getting hot. Think about it. Gluing a short circuit to your face could burn you, so better to check now than find out later. Since your skin is slightly conductive, insulate the backs of the pixels with E6000 craft adhesive and allow to dry. At this point, you can also glue Gemma and a battery pack to a hair clip. Test your circuit on battery power, then turn it off and apply liquid latex to the back of each pixel. Apply your foundation as usual, then gently place the circuit across your forehead and clip Gemma in your hair. Use a sponge wand applicator to add more liquid latex where needed and hold the pixels in place for a few seconds until they stay on their own. If you've never used this stuff before, test it to make sure you're not allergic. When the latex is dry, flip on the power switch and watch your pixels glow. You should feel very comfortable with no noticeable prickly feeling when the power's on. If you're getting a tickle from any of the pixels, go back and insulate it with more glue. Now onto the shading. Start with a deep black eyeshadow and pack it all across your forehead from the hairline to about halfway down using a flat brush. Switch to a bigger brush and a highly pigmented purple shadow and blend it across the brow bone into the black and down to the temples. Add a bit of contouring under the cheekbone at an upward angle into the hairline. You can also contour your neck right under your jawbone with that same purple. Highlight your cheekbones with an iridescent nude, and then it's onto the eyes. We're going to do a simple smoky purple eye. Start with a medium shade all over your lid's inner corner and underbrow highlight. Then use a deeper purple in the socket and blend towards the outer corner. Sprinkle loose glitter across the whole look. Line your eyes with a black gel or pencil liner. Curl your lashes and apply some falsies to the outer edge. Then finish off with a generous coat of mascara. To keep your look intergalactically fabulous the longest, finish with a setting spray and pack a spare set of batteries. For more inspiration, check out these other space faces we found on YouTube. Share your projects with us by using hashtag #ElectronicHalloween, and don't miss our live show every week with me, Becky Stern.
All right.
That was cool. I like
Yeah.
it because it's like, it's now doing makeup-tronics.
Yeah, we are. Getting more people involved in electronics. You know, the future of makeup isn't just going to be putting stuff on. It's going to be putting electronic makeup on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be neat.
No, I totally agree.
Okay, so next up, don't forget, every Wednesday on our YouTube channel, we have a live show, Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern. You can watch it, the only half an hour live wearable show on the internet.
Yeah. LED makeup tips.
Yeah. All this month we're doing Electronic Halloween, so do check out the site in the Halloween category if you're looking for ideas for things and more. Check it out. Here's some of the posts this week. This family made their own Roomba costumes, and there's LEDs inside that light up that are synchronized, which is very cool. Lots of people using Philby's code and tutorial to make the headband eyeballs. These are Ninja Turtle eyes, I believe.
Those are funny.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? And then this is neat. This is a stick figure costume. So when the kids are out, they just look like stick figures.
This is like really good because the kids like it because it's like super glowy. And the parents like it because the kids are not going to get hit by a car.
Yeah, it works out
like
works out well for everybody. And then here is, this is a tongue-controlled actuator that allows you to control a costume. So
Yeah, it's
you use
interesting.
and again, just amazing things that are in the Halloween section. 3D Thursday every Thursday, we have all the news that's fit to 3D print. Someone should come out with that, a site that's all the news that's fit to
There's
3D print.
3Ders.
Yeah.
Is it because it's fabric and stuff?
Yeah.
Fabric?
So last
Okay.
night, we have a month-long effort. Last night we had some folks on. It's called Make the World. We're doing this in partnership with Google. And we had Bree, the CEO of MakerBot. We had Prosthetics for Prosperity and the eNavel community, and Harris, who was a finalist for the Google Science Fair. And this month-long effort is trying to connect people that have 3D printers and people that are making 3D prosthetics, and getting them to assist with getting these prosthetics to people in need. So far already, we've only been doing this for 2 weeks
week,
now.
yeah.
14 kids are getting 3D printed prosthetics. I have a few of them here. This is known as the RoboHand project, and the idea is, a low cost hand, and 3D printers are becoming more available, and you can improve upon the design and share it. And lots of customization. So do check that out. If you want to get involved, Make the World, go to the Adafruit account on Google+, so google.com/plus Adafruit. Then you can go to the eNavel community. You have to ask to join, and then they'll allow you to join. And this is a community of people that they're putting a little tag on the map for every maker that has a 3D printer that's making prosthetics.
They're trying to connect people who need this stuff but don't have a 3D printer to people who have 3D printers and they want to do something fun and cool and help customize these RoboHands to kids or adults who need them. And this is a great, extremely low-cost way to make a robotic or semi-robotic hand. You could add servos. The guy who was on the show, Harris, basically made a RoboHand but had servo actuation. So if you have some mobility but you can't grip, it'll give you extra force using light pressure sensing.
If you know someone who could benefit from having one of these who doesn't have a hand, go to the eNavel community and you can request a RoboHand, and someone with a 3D printer will print one up. One of the things that we're noticing is kids in particular, if they need a prosthetic hand, they want to do lots of things like maybe have a special one that can help play video games, or has lasers on it and stuff like that. So this type of mass customization is really cool. So we're working on that all month. On Friday coming up, we'll have another one. So Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can find that on the Adafruit Google Plus page. All right, next up.
And in the community.
Yeah, and speaking of community, so right now we're up to 63,000 members in the makers, hackers, artists, and engineers community. One of the things that we decided was not the Google Plus offerings that are out there, they have communities. So we have an Adafruit company page, but then we have a community page, and we didn't want to just call it Adafruit. We actually wanted to cover everybody.
Yeah, this should be for people, not just Adafruit customers, everybody.
Yeah, and so people are posting up their artwork, they're posting up recipes. Makers, hackers, artists, and engineers kind of covers everybody. So do check it out and do join. Sometimes they have special discount codes.
It's a great place to go and avoid like Kardashian gossip. I mean,
and we have special we have special events. We try to do things. Other people in the maker community, companies that everyone knows, they post things in there. Atmel's in there. Everybody, like, it's a really cool cool community. So last up on 3D Thursday, just because we're doing this hand project, someone posted up these really cool human finger 3D prints.
Yeah, these are kind of more complicated. This is only a single jointed finger or a double jointed finger, and this is a triple jointed finger.
Yeah, very cool.
Just like most fingers.
I like that it has like fingerprints on it too. That's very cool.
Oh yeah, because of the 3D print effects. Yeah, and it's a similar system with the. It seems like it's derived from RoboHand, but it's maybe a little more complicated.
So next up, Pi Day. Every Friday we have all sorts of Pi news. So
Pi.
I always have, there's so many, I only try to pick one and then have like a topic to discuss. So this is kind of neat. This is a little tiny, it's a little tiny Lego computer.
It's based off of Adventure Time, which unfortunately I've never watched, so I don't know the name of the character that this is like mimicking.
Yeah, but it uses
they're definitely all really cute characters.
It uses our screen, and that's our little Wi-Fi dongle, and this is all the Adafruit stuff that goes inside of it.
Yeah, so they're using a little screen, and one of the reasons I'm carrying these screens, even though they're not the nicest quality because they're just like NTSC, But it makes it really easy to do little display type stuff with a Raspberry Pi or similar, where you have NTSC out. You don't want to like get an HDMI converter or like VGA, like op amps or whatever. This is just like plug and play, real easy, little display.
Yeah.
So that's cute.
Okay.
And I think you can actually do stuff. We can play stuff with it. It's also a controller because it looks like a
Yeah, it might be.
little video game thing going on there maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Okay, next up, and this is the really big news, and this is what I want to talk about.
Pi.
Yeah.
Pi. Say that 1.75 million times.
So there are 1.75 million Raspberry Pis sold so far, and 1 million of them are made in the UK. This is huge.
In the Sony facility.
In the Sony facility. So they also had a golden Pi case.
Yes, golden
yeah.
Pi.
So I post these things up because back in the old days when I was senior editor at Make, I would keep track of all the market share of Arduinos and things because people care about it. And one of the things that, this has changed now, but people would say, oh, all this stuff is never going to be mainstream. No one's ever going to sell 1 million of anything. When they do, then it'll be mainstream. Well, now there's 1 million Raspberry Pi sold. Mm-hmm. So is it mainstream? Who knows? I think it's kind of silly to say what mainstream is or isn't. There's obviously a big desire and things are moving really fast. And the maker movement is about 10 years old soon. Make will be celebrating a 10-year anniversary next year. Hackaday, 10-year anniversary next year. But the big news is on January 13th, that's when they hit the first million. So now we're up to 1.75 million. So there's about 80,000 Pi units moving per month.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a few thousand that we ship every month for sure. And what's neat is that's the velocity of the sales that are going on. Okay, so that is Pi Day. So that's your market share report. The code is ruler. Don't forget, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store. We're about to do new products, so if you want to buy some of these things, you can and will. All right. All right, it's new product time, Lady Ada. Yeah. So new product time, and we're going to do something a little different this week. While you're getting set up over there, I'm going to go to our other camera. Look at this. There's another camera over here.
Ooh.
This is a digitizer. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a live scan. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about what the digitizer is. The MakerBot digitizer is the new scanning system from MakerBot. It scans things. Here's another view. They have a little rabbit that they show. Look, you can scan in a rabbit from something that maybe you have a little statue of a rabbit and you want to scan it in and then put it on Thingiverse or manipulate it and then print it out and do different things. It has a camera. It has lasers. Here's a side view. Here's a top view. And here is the digitizer view. So it comes with this little thing here. This is how to calibrate it, by the way. When you first get it, you put it on there. But we're not going to do that. It's already calibrated. I have a little Lego figure, little Lady Ada Lego figure there. And what we're going to do is I'm going to turn on the camera here. That's us. Hello. And what we're going to do is scan it in.
Okay, start. Continue.
Well,
Begin.
well, I've already scanned in one thing, but
scan.
I'm going to do a new scan. So
Okay.
for the folks at home, right now on my screen, there is
You can see the view of what it's
Yeah.
seeing, but it's in red.
Yeah.
Because there's a filter.
And we're going to start to scan. So you'll see this and probably hear this over the next 9 minutes. That's about how long it takes. And you'll see the laser. And I'm going to actually move the camera and show you what's going on here. Let's make sure I didn't...
Yeah, I can see the laser.
Okay. So there's the laser.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the little Lady Ada Lego. And then there's the lasers.
It's probably going to catch that camera that you stuck in
Yeah,
there.
that's fine.
But yeah, there's two laser lines, and they're at 90-degree angles, and then the webcam is looking at the line. This is actually a really old technique that is used to scan in items. It looks at the laser line, and there's a filter on the webcam that looks for that red line, and when by seeing how it deforms from an angle, it can make the outside shape of. It can figure out the outside shape of a 3D object. So I've seen like DIY scanners that do it this way, and then the trick is just to have software that kind of takes all that together and turns it into a mesh. That's actually kind of a little bit of the hard part. And then digitizer comes with software. So so you can see it slowly turning it one little step at a time, probably like 1,000 times, and maybe it even does it twice just to get, two passes.
Yep.
And yeah.
So we have those in the store now. And I'm going to let this run
Okay.
while we do the rest of new products. So
Okay.
that's going to be the noise in the background.
Zip, zip, zip,
Zip, zip, zip, zip, zip.
zip.
Okay. So next up, we have
Little mini heat sinks.
little
Yeah,
tiny
they're so
heat sinks.
teeny.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good photo because it's like so small. It's actually hard to see.
Yeah,
on
that's the
the,
back. There's a bunch of them. And then let's see how this goes. Here.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
did you turn on the camera?
Hold on. 1 second.
We have a
We
new
have a new
overhead
I
camera.
have to learn how to turn this on. Oh, sorry, it is not on. You're right.
Yeah,
On.
we have
Okay.
a new overhead camera. In
It's
fact,
now on.
we're going to be upgrading all the cameras on Ask an Engineer because we're broadcasting in HD, and we have some. We did a lot of research on the type of cameras we're going to migrate to, but it's all like Thunderbolt. It has to go through a special encoder box.
Converters.
So tonight is the first time that we're actually going to try it as an
Okay.
overhead camera.
It
Just to see what
seems to be
happens.
working. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. So this is the little. It's such a teeny little heatsink, but this is really good for little QFNs and stuff. It's even hard to zoom in on it because it's so small. On the back, there's a little bit of tape. This is 3M heatsink tape, so it's kind of handy. It comes in a pack of like 10 or so, and they're really inexpensive. They're just like 50 cents each. They're not like great heat sinks. I mean, they're small, but if you need something that fits into a small box, you just need just a little bit more thermal thingy going on there. Because these are so small, you can stick them onto like, QFNs, QFPs, BGAs, kind of anything. They're just pretty straightforward, really easy to use. And I like to have these little mini heat sinks because my friend Waz was like, hey, it's easy to get big heat sinks, but it's really hard to get small heat sinks. Like they're not as easy to get. But as we're going into small motor drivers and stuff, they're so teeny. You want to have a little heat sink to go with it. So, anyways, now this is good. You can really see it.
Yeah. Okay. Next up.
Okay.
You can get this. Why don't you get the scarf right there?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So this is a special product. One of our employees, Jeff, and he does the Art Tuesday blog, and he does the new product curation with us. He has. I like to call him the glitch father. He is one of the pioneers who takes these video game ROMs, dumps them, and turns them into textiles.
Yeah, these are pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is Jeff's work.
It's custom made in Germany.
Yeah.
And
they're beautiful.
By this factory that like makes like high-end wool scarves. It's super warm and comfy, even though it's not that thick. And it's a nice double-sided scarf. And yeah, it looks cool. This might be the new style, by the way. So if you get these, like this will probably be really hot this winter because we've had a lot of the black and white dazzle wear.
Yeah.
So I could see this being the next style glitch fabric.
Yeah, here are some photos. You can see all the details.
Very glitchy. Yeah, this one's mine.
This is
I'm taking this one
Daigo,
home.
our CIO. Rissa, again, from Wearables. And here's a photo of Jeff. That's the guy who makes these.
With his glitches.
Yeah. All right. So there was a request to have the digitizer in the upper corner while we continue
Can
to
you
show.
do it live?
Yeah, I could do this live.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'll put it like right over here.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Your body's now a digitizer.
Yeah. So now you can see the digitizer going on.
Look, it's going to take like 3
Yeah.
more minutes.
Yeah. So that's the noise over there. But we'll keep going on new products.
Okay.
Okay. So next up we have the Mojo.
Yay.
This is the Mojo. Lots of photos of the Mojo. And then we will go to the overhead.
Hold on. I'm getting it out of the silver bag. It's like exactly the same size as a silver bag.
Okay. Now for
Okay.
this, you probably
Okay,
want
this
to.
I'm going to bring this out.
Yeah.
And then you're going to also bring it out?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Look at us.
Okay.
And then,
You want to focus in?
Oh.
There you go. Look at that.
well, hold on. Sorry.
Your little
My
lighting.
LED ring.
Your little lighting apparatus is getting in the way.
Okay.
All right.
So this is the Mojo FPGA board, and this is a Kickstarter that we saw, and they fulfilled all their. They fulfilled all of the Kickstarter backers, and they're like, "Oh, we have some more, and would you like to check this out?" So this is a FPGA board using a Xilinx Spartan 6 X C5SLX9. And it's a pretty, it looks like a 256 pin or something FPGA. It's also got an Atmega 32U4 on it, so it's kind of got a little bit of Arduino, Leonardo action going over here, and then FPGA action over here. The nice thing about having the 32U4 is that it provides a USB interface and also analog digital converter. I mean, obviously you can do like any high speed, video, or if you have a DAC or ADC, you can do that off the FPGA, but you can, just do it on the 32U4 and then use this for kind of the high-end stuff. And what we really liked about this, because there's a lot of FPGA boards, and I'm like, oh, okay, like it's yet another FPGA board. And we even carry the DEO Nano, which I actually like a lot. What I liked about this was the combination of the 32U4 chip, and also there's a lot of really good tutorials on the website. It's really hard to get into FPGAs, and oftentimes you have to buy like a $500 dev board from the maker. And what's nice about this is it comes with great tutorials, diagrams, compiler stuff, everything you need to get started.
Yeah.
So, and it's like not that expensive, it's like $80. So it's kind of, I thought, that the lowest cost, easiest to get started with FPGA board. So check it out. A lot of people have been asking for more FPGA options, and we provide them.
What is an FPGA for people who just don't know? In very general terms, what is it?
FPGA is a field programmable gate array, and it's basically an extremely low-level way to program a chip. So with an Arduino or an mbed or other microcontroller, you'll be writing code often in C or Java maybe, or Python, or like some higher-level language. Or Lua, whatever the higher level language is, maybe assembler. With an FPGA, you don't even use assembly. What you're actually doing is controlling the gates, and so it's a different way of doing stuff, because instead of having a procedural programming where every command happens one after the other, like if this, light the LED, if not, turn the motor.
Yeah.
That's procedural programming. With an FPGA, instead of that, what you'll do is actually define all of your gates at once, and then you clock them. So it's extremely high parallelized way of controlling a chip, and allows you to get extremely good performance out of it. But it's a little more difficult because it's, once you know one microcontroller, you can program any microcontroller. But FPGAs, it's so different that you actually need to learn how to do FPGA programming on its own.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why having a really good dev board is key. If you don't have a good dev board, it's like, okay, it's impossible and I'm not getting any help.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like you get a hand in it.
Okay. Next up, I think this is the star of the show today because so many people really like this. This is our new ruler. Adafruit has a ruler. And here's some photos that we took. This is the front and the back. And this is designed by Frank.
Yeah.
One PCB to ruler them all. So do you want to go to the overhead?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
And this is the right size for this. Oh, wait.
Yeah, you'll probably want to focus a little bit.
Hold on. I gotta get this USB cable out of here. Okay. And then I will focus. Still learning how to use this camera.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, looks great.
That's pretty good. Okay. So, and then you can even zoom in if you want. Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, this is a really lovely ruler, and we were thinking of maybe making some sort of like, because I'm always designing stuff, and K-Town's designing hardware here, and like having something to reference all the different sizes of components. And so I saw all these PCB reference cards and posters and stuff, and I was like, well, it'd be really handy to get one. We actually went to Apex Expo in February, and I got a ruler with some of these basic shapes on them, and I was like, this is cool, but I want something with a little bit more stuff. And Frank was like, oh, I actually designed something like this in 2011 with my friend for school, and I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's make one for Adafruit that's like uses the parts that we use here in the shop. So it's really lovely. It's black mask with a gold plate on it, so it won't oxidize. Yeah, and there's a bunch of really cool shapes. So here is a QFP 32 with a 0.5 millimeter pitch, 0.8 millimeter pitch, QFPs, QFNs, BGAs of different sizes, TSOPs, and then on the back, this is kind of where like the crazy action is. There's a trace width collection, so from 40 mil to 6 mil. The different RCL components from 2010, 12 10, 1206, 0805, 0603, 0402, 0201. You can barely even see the 0201s. Different diodes from SMA, SMC down to SC79. Your classic SOT23s, SOT223s, D-packs, D2 packs, SOT89s. A couple different crystal sizes. This is really important because I'm often picking at crystals, and you're like, wow, the crystals that are really cheap are all HC49s, but they're huge. So keep that in mind. You might have to go to a smaller crystal. Some more TSOPs, SOICs, QFPs, QFNs. And these are some nice little diagrams showing silkscreen options and sizes and like transistor pinouts and stuff. And also up here we have a wire gauge chart. I didn't actually bring any wire, but what you can do is if you're not sure how thick the wire is that you're using, you can stick them in the holes to see, and if it fits without being too tight, you know that that's pretty much the right gauge. This is going to be handy if you're like, you know, you have some wire or something that you want to figure out what the gauge is, or you're trying to visualize how thick your wires are going to be if you get like 32 gauge or 18 gauge or 6 gauge. And then of course it's a ruler, so we've got centimeter, 10 centimeters down, or sorry, 15 centimeters down here with millimeter marks. And then we also have inches up here with the classic half, quarter, eighth inch marks. So it's basically a 6-inch ruler. So I think this kind of covers like everything. It's really handy. I just have this on my desk, and I'm like, I look at it like all the time. So I'm like, you know, how thick is 40 mil? And we also have them in the shop. And I don't know, I really like this little ruler. It's also a nice standard thickness.
Yeah.
So it's
Cool
it won't
project.
bend too much. Got a nice corner too.
Yeah, someone asked if we're going to have that in our product photos. No, because people would assume that every product came with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Like,
That's why there wasn't a quarter or a ruler next to the ruler, because I'm like, well, we don't need it because it has measurements on it. But the problem is we found that if there's anything in the photo other than a quarter, people think.
Yeah, we're always really clear. Some people, oddly enough, have complained that they said there's a picture of a quarter. I should get a quarter. And,
That's sort of tough.
and they weren't kidding.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are we done?
that's new products.
Okay.
That is new products, Lady Ada.
I'm gonna turn off my NeoPixel.
That was it. All right, so we're gonna do some questions. Wow, that just filled up the hour really fast.
Yeah, but we have just enough
Yeah.
time.
So let's do some questions. We'll answer questions by everyone. Type them in the chat. And,
Let's
we'll-
ask engineering questions because we
Yeah.
didn't have time. The last couple of weeks have been
Yeah,
super busy.
we've had guests and everything.
Yes.
Okay. So, are there footprints from the Eagle library, Adafruit Eagle library, on the ruler?
Yeah, I think that these are a standard part. These are actually standard Eagle part, so we don't even. It's not even like specialized parts from the Adafruit library. Just go to the standard Eagle library and you can check it out.
Okay. Next up, what would you consider the minimum amps, volts, watts needed from a solar panel to adequately charge a USB device without an intermediate battery like iPhones?
Well, you'll always need a battery because the moment it gets shaded or the sun moves, it'll lose all its power. So a battery is pretty much not optional. But you could probably get away with a 2-watt panel, possibly, or a 3-watt panel. But you'll have to get a panel that's 2 or 3 times larger than what you want to charge, so that when it's shaded, it still provides some current.
Yeah.
And most devices do not like being charged directly from a solar panel.
Yeah.
It really freaks them out.
Okay, next up, are those holes for solid or stranded wire?
For either.
Okay. How fast is the refresh rate of the 2.2-inch 18-bit color TFT display with the micro SD card breakout?
I don't know what the refresh rate is. It depends on the, it's not like there's a refresh rate that the TFT is controlled by a controller on the inside. You can look at the controller data sheet. It probably refreshes at maybe like 120 or 200 hertz or something. It's not that visible, but it is a passive matrix display, I believe.
Okay, so
Maybe it's active matrix, I don't
next
know.
up, a couple of questions. I'll just combine these. What do you think about the Intel Galileo or the Arduino tray? What's the differences and which one makes each one cool?
I don't have them yet, so
Yeah.
I don't know. We weren't given any,
No.
and I haven't seen one in person.
Yeah.
But one is based on the BeagleBone, and one is based on Intel Core.
Yeah.
Other than that, I actually don't know because I don't have one.
Yeah, supposedly the Galileos will be around November 28th, and then the
trays are next year.
Next year.
So you could probably get a Galileo soonish.
Yeah, there are people with them if you went to Maker Faire Rome or if you're one of the schools that got them.
Also, the tray includes the BeagleBone crossed with an Arduino, basically, with an Arduino chip on there. Whereas the Galileo, I don't believe that there is any Arduino core chip on there. It's actually just the Intel Core processor.
Okay. Next
kind
up,
of
do you know of
unusual.
a simple HTTP server code that fits on an Arduino with CC3000?
I don't believe there is one yet.
Okay. Next up, someone wants to know, do we do sponsorship? You can email support@adafruit.com, and depending on what it is, sometimes we do, sometimes we give out discount codes for specific groups. It all really depends. We don't do tons of sponsorship, but we do our best when folks email us.
Yeah, we get a lot of requests, so
yeah.
we have to balance
Can't
them.
say yes to everybody, but we do not say no to everyone either. Next up, will you guys post a tutorial on how to use the CC3000 Smart Config? I know you guys have an example, but what do I need to in my program to get the app so I can use it? AKA, is there a guide?
There's no guide at this time. Smart Config is iffy. We have code and it does work. If you run the Smart Config on your iOS device or Android device,
Yeah.
you should be able to Smart Config it, but we just don't have a detailed tutorial.
Next
at
up,
this time.
3 volt or 5 volt trinket? Which one, Lady Ada?
The 5 volt is more popular.
Yeah, we
I like the 3
two
volt.
trinket enter, 1 trinket will leave.
No, they're both popular, but
Yeah.
the Trinket 5 volt is a slightly more popular one.
Yeah. Next up, lots of questions. Are you guys going to stock just the LPC 810s without the kit?
No, we will
Okay.
not. But you can buy them from DitchGear Mail.
Next up, any heads up on when the Yuns will be here? They're on order.
They're in order, and when we
Yeah.
get them,
What's a good low-cost PCB manufacturing company with a batch for about 10 boards?
you use Lane.
OSH Park.
Yeah. Lane's
Okay.
PCBs. I'm going to call it Dorkbot PDX PCBs.
Yeah.
Purple PCBs.
What processor does the digitizer use? We haven't cracked it open yet. We actually might do a teardown of the digitizer.
I'm not sure it uses a processor. I thought it would pretty much just connect to a computer
Yeah.
and just use the
Oh, by the way,
computer.
the scan was done, so this is why you don't hear the noise
Bleep,
anymore.
bleep, bleep.
Yeah. So, okay.
I would guess that if there is a processor inside, it's something very minor just to turn on
Yeah. We'll open
the
it up.
LEDs. But I mean, the webcam, it wouldn't make sense for a processor to be in there. It would make more sense for it to send data to the computer, and then the software on the computer
Yeah.
does the real thinking.
Okay. Can you do a version 3 powered USB hub with Raspberry Pi and use an USB 2.0 port on a computer?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have a USB 3 hub,
Let's
but I think
see.
they're all backwards compatible.
Lady Ada, have you ever worked with TTL Logic 74 series ICs?
Not in like 10 years.
Okay.
You don't really have to anymore.
Next up, someone wants to know
I've
if
got
they got a
CMOS logic.
sponsorship, would they have to put the Adafruit logo on it? No, we don't really require that at all. Again, it would just depend on what type of sponsorship it would be. What's the difference between the CC3000 Shield and the Breakout?
One is just Arduino shaped, and one isn't. That's pretty much the only difference. One also has like a micro SD card. It's the same chip, same code, same pinout, same everything.
Okay. Next up, can we add an update to the Minecraft Pi tutorial on how to program with Python? If you know someone who wants to do that, yeah, we'd love to add that.
The person who had the tutorial didn't know how to do it, so they ended where they knew. But if you know somebody
Yeah.
who can do it, send them our way, and we'll have them
Okay.
up a tutorial.
When will the Flora and Gemma be back in stock? Very soon.
Soonish.
Let's see.
Sign up.
Next up, can you do animation with the 2.2-inch 18-bit TFT display?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Some animations.
Okay.
If your processor can handle it, then the display can handle it.
Okay. That's it for questions.
Okay.
Good work. Whew. All right. It's trivia question time, Lady Ada. What are the rules?
The happy rules are the first person to type in the correct answer to the chat wins. If you don't win, it's okay. You can try again next time.
Yep.
But if you've already won, you can't enter at all. So go make yourself a sandwich or start your 3D printer up and make a robo hand. But
Yeah.
don't try to enter this contest because we want everyone to win once.
Okay.
And the prize today is a PCB ruler,
You'll get a ruler.
which is lovely.
Or in Russia,
Handy.
as they're called, czars. Yeah, I'm here all week. Okay. Ready?
Not called sardines.
Who is the first woman to discover a comet? It was on.
It was shocking.
It was on.
And we covered it about 45 minutes ago.
We covered it on our. Yeah, just type it in the chat. We covered
Were
it
you
on
paying attention?
Time Travel Tuesday. So first person to type it in, you will win a ruler. And we will wait because there's always a delay with the
Oh,
live
these robo
internet.
hands, these are fun.
It is not Lady Gaga. So if you want to know where to find this, you can just go to the Adafruit blog, go to Time Travel Tuesday.
Search for Comet.
can do that. No, you could just, okay. Vera Share, congratulations. It's Maria Mitchell.
Vera Share, you sound like a company that does some sort of security auditing.
Yeah, congratulations. Email support@adafruit.com and you will get a ruler. All right, that's it for us tonight. The code is ruler. This code is active for another hour. You can, now let me just tell you this, you can get these digitizers for 10% off, which is the lowest cost possible. We did not put these in the category of things that don't get discounts. So if you're thinking of getting a digitizer, use the code ruler.
You can get like $140
That's
off,
$140
which is pretty much
off.
what we pay to get them.
Yeah.
They're really expensive.
Yeah, there's not a lot of margin on these. So, and then you also get free UPS ground
You get free
shipping,
shipping.
and you get a free Raspberry Pi because it's over $350. So it is a good deal.
You can scan the 3D, scan the Raspberry Pi and make like a 3D case.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, okay.
So we're here every week. Don't forget to
Bye-bye.
check the site for any special guests that we have. Show and Tell is on 9:30 every single Saturday night. We have our Wearable Wednesday show on Wednesdays at 2. We
Yeah,
have,
you don't have to go a full week without an exciting Adafruit show.
we
You
have
can-
Make the
you can
World
watch the show on Wednesday.
Friday nights now.
So we have 3 shows this week.
Thank you, everyone who was on the show and tell. Thank you, everyone who's in the chat. Thank you, all of our Adafruit staff that happens to be here. Thank you, everyone who's helping us out, as
Yeah.
always. And we will see all of you next week. Here's a picture of MOSFETs who is hanging out at home waiting for us.
He's very cute.
And here is your moment of Zener.